Everything's gonna be okay, new stuff. We've all been through this. You just need to get your head
What the is going on? What?
You, my friend, stumbled into an incredible world of wonders where anything can happen! Except for swearing.
Oh my god. Oh, okay, now I get it! This is a dream, and I should just play along until I wake up, right?
Whatever you say, kid.
How about we talk about something else? Like your name!
My name? My name is, oh god! Why can't I remember my name? What's my name?
What do you think of...
I don't...
You're right, terrible. Let's try that again!
What did any of that mean?
I'm sure there'll be one for... Oh, look. You already got one.
Thank goodness this is all a dream, right, Pomni?
Why are we here again?
There you go! Oh, how I never like letting people see my unfinished work. Especially if it leads you out into the void.
Drink or sleep in this digital world. So the digital food here only gives off the virtual sensation of eating without any of the nutritional benefits.
Sheesh, lay off it. Since when are you an expert on the digital world?
Expert on the what?
Peace and blessings, my lovely butterflies. This is the Awakened Butterfly, and I am back with another video. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please stay for the entire video or check out some of my existing content. If you enjoy this type of content, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to all of my newcomers. Welcome back to all of my day ones. I hope you guys are having a blessed and amazing day on this Monday. I pray that everyone's continuing to take care of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. I love you guys so much. And as always, the love and support that you show me on this channel is always greatly appreciated. If you haven't already, please hit that post notification bell so you will be notified every time I post a video. Guys, I hope you all are having a great day. I hope you all had a great weekend. I really missed you guys. I am so happy to be back posting. I had a lot going on, but nevertheless, I am back. So let's get into it. In today's video, guys, I want to talk a little bit about an animated series on Netflix called The Amazing Digital Circus, which is about 6 people who are trying to mentally, physically, and spiritually survive being trapped inside of a virtual reality video game. Now, I noticed that there's a lot of dark occult symbolism, psychological warfare, violence, and insulting language in this cartoon that I feel makes it very inappropriate for children to watch. Now, guys, I watched episode 1 after the Most High brought this cartoon to my attention, just so I can get a better insight, so I can give you guys a better video. And I noticed that the cartoon takes place inside of a tent, which appears to be bigger on the inside than the outside. And there are 6 humans trapped inside of this digital world, inside of this tent, where they are under AI simulation. Cain is the head AI entity, and he portrays himself as the ringmaster of the circus. Now, Cain controls the simulation and the environment, meaning he has the ability to create new characters, new realities, in which in the cartoon he refers to as adventures that he created in order to help the characters remain sane, to keep them from losing their sanity. And he also has the ability to reverse abstractions. And this happens when the characters are actually on the verge of having a mental breakdown. And I noticed in the cartoon that when this happens, the characters seem to glitch and they begin to become very anxious and nervous and paranoid. And it's like they're trying to find an exit from the circus, only to realize there is no exit and they are actually trapped inside of this video game. I also noticed that each humanoid character has their own special quality and background. And I feel like, these special qualities are their own personal coping mechanisms that they use in order to survive their past and current situations. Now, Kinger was the first human to be trapped inside of the circus, and he seems to be suffering from paranoia and schizophrenia. He hears voices, he's very nervous and afraid all the time, and he actually lost his wife from an abstraction in the simulation. And after this happened, it took a toll on Kinger, and he isolated himself as a way of escaping his new reality. Now we have Ragatha, who was represented by a rag doll. That was her character. She seemed to be very optimistic, very happy, always seeing the bright side of things. It seems that she also suffered from social anxiety and from being passive aggressive. And I felt that this was her coping mechanism in order to escape her reality of being controlled and mistreated by others. She always tried to make light of situations by pretending to be happy and forgiving others after they mistreat her, in order to avoid conflict in their perspective of her, because it seemed that not only did she care about trying to stay positive in order to escape her trauma, she also cared about what people thought of her. So I just felt that it was just a double whammy for her, and it just always kept her in an even darker place on top of what she was already going through. Now, Zubul suffered from identity crisis and body dysphoria. Zubul, unlike all the other characters, is genderless and seems to not be satisfied with themselves, no matter how many different parts are offered to them by Cain. The way Zubul, in my opinion, is depicted in the cartoon, I feel that it is safe to say they represent the LGBTQ community. Being genderless and changing parts to find a part that they are more comfortable with. I feel that this made Zubul binary. I feel that this character represents body dysmorphia as well, and the plastic surgery trend. You know, if I don't like how my body looks, I'll just change it. No matter how many surgeries I have to have, no matter how much I put my health at risk. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, guys. I'm just being honest. You know, this is when we set these trends and agendas, you know, as humans in our society, a lot of the times you don't look at the harm and detriment that it's going to cause until it actually happens. And I feel that that's what happened with the plastic surgery trend. And I feel that this is what this character represents. Also, guys, we have Gangler. Now, I feel that Gangler suffered from bipolar manic depressive disorder. 1 minute Gangler was happy and cheerful and confident. And sometimes, you know, when overly manic, a little overly confident and a little aggressive and controlling. But that was Gangler's happy mask. That's when Gangler was at her strong point. When her mask is broken, which usually happens when one of the other characters insults her or causes her physical harm, she becomes very sad and discouraged. She wears different masks in order to cope with the trauma that she was experiencing, you know, under AI simulation. She would hide a lot of her emotions in order to fit in and in order to cope. You could tell that these characters were up under a lot of mental distress, guys. And it just makes you wonder, you know, why are these things being depicted in a children's show? Okay, now guys, this character is very interesting to me because this character is, to me, is very different from the other characters in a dark way. I feel that Jax was an example of if you can't beat them, join them. He had narcissistic personality disorder. And instead of worrying about, you know, being under simulation and trying to find an escape, like some of the other characters, even trying to stay mentally sane, he chose to play the game by accepting his new reality. He was willing to participate in the adventures while simultaneously leading the other characters into more unfortunate situations in the circus. It seems like he was the devil's advocate. It seems as if, I also noticed, guys, too, that there was a part in episode 1 where he actually turned into one of the monsters that torments the characters throughout the digital circus from time to time. And I also noticed that Jax was very violent towards the other characters. Now, this could have been his way of coping with his new reality. You know, maybe he was in denial of his trauma. Maybe he was numb and he was allowing the enemy to use him. And I noticed that each character's personality, and even a lot of flashbacks that they would show of the characters' lives, it represented a lot of the things that they were going through in the circus. It represented things that they may have been going through in real life. And I noticed that Jax was very narcissistic and he loved to break people. He was usually one of the main characters that broke Gangler's mask. And it shows how in real life the narcissists, how they target certain people that they feel that they can break. And, you know, it just gives a great example of that. And, you know, instead of him being a victim, he participated in victimizing others. He experienced joy from seeing the other characters suffer. And he made it very obvious. And guys, the more I describe these characters, the more I realize how they relate to a lot of real life situations. Now, guys, last but not least, and I know that I said that Jax was probably the most interesting character, but this character, to me, I feel is the main character of the cartoon, and her name is Promny. Now, I would just say, indeed, Promny is the main character of the Digital Circus. And she became entrapped in the game by putting on a virtual reality headset. Now, although all the other characters are under simulation, she seemed to be the most targeted of them all. Because it seems that they were all trapped in this game and they were all trying to survive certain obstacles in order to survive. It seems that she was always the most targeted. I also noticed that of all the other characters, she was the only one that became entrapped through a VR headset. However, it does not explain how the other characters got trapped inside of the Digital Circus. Promny was very aware that she was living in an altered reality. She was suffering from a personality disorder as well as social anxiety. You know, Promny was always under emotional distress, and I feel that this is because, like all the other characters, Promny's memory was erased. And that's one part I forgot to mention, guys. All the characters, once they entered this new reality, their memory was wiped clean. Now, Kane was able to control and alter many things in the simulation except the minds of the characters. So this is why a lot of them, you know, got to the point of abstraction. This is why Promny constantly questioned her identity and environment. You know, she was always trying to find an escape. She was always glitching. She was always having nausea and vomiting. And these are great examples, guys, of how even some of you as targeted individuals are victims of gang stalking programs, you know, being hit by electronic weapons, experiencing a lot of symptoms that comes with it, such as nausea, vomiting, headaches, being gaslit by family members, friends, and others in the community, but are still mentally aware that something is dark taking place. Someone and something is trying to alter your reality. See, you see how I would just say, I feel that it's safe to say at this point that Cain represents the devil in this situation. And as much as he tries to attack us, guys, he can't take our minds away from us. God will always bring us back. With strong prayer, even through grace and mercy, guys, the Most High will put us in these situations and bring us back just so we can help other people. As targeted individuals, to even be able to talk about being hit with electronic weapons and to survive the harassment is a blessing within itself, and lets you know that the enemy can try all the tricks that he wants to. He can even, you know, put illusions in front of you, and he can alter your thinking. He can maybe, you know, can influence your mind, but he can't take your mind away from you. He can't fully control your mind, but you can be possessed by demonic spirit. And I feel that that's also where a lot of the vomiting came from. I feel that a lot of these characters were also placed under black magic spells. I feel that a lot of them became demonically possessed. And I feel that the vomiting also represented spiritual deliverance in a lot of ways, as well as being hit with electronic weapons. Guys, it's just so much to take in when watching this show. The characters, I also feel, are victims of spiritual warfare. You know, being mentally, physically, and spiritually imprisoned, being harassed and monitored at all times. You know, Cain, as I said earlier, he represents the enemy. You know, there was a lot of dark occult symbolism that stood out to me, guys, that led me to believe that he represented the enemy. And, you know, things like the checkerboard floors, pyramids, the all-seeing eyes. He talked about always watching prominently with his all-seeing eyes. He actually mentioned that in the cartoon. Also, guys, the moon and the stars were very... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the moon and the star. The moon and the sun was also highly represented in this cartoon as well. Also, Cain being the ringmaster, you know, wearing a top hat, having a cane as if he was a magician. Now, guys, that brings me to talk about the Freemasons and how, you know, the Freemasons are a large group of powerful leaders worldwide, you know, who are deeply into magic. And they perform secret rituals that include esoteric teachings and other secret ceremonies. And these esoteric teachings and rituals does involve sun and moon rituals. The same people who work as presidents, governors, scientists, pastors, law enforcement, these are just to name a few. A lot of these people are members of these secret societies. And they're using their power and authority to create their own reality at the expense of harming their family and other people of their society. And I also, you know, I feel that this is what this show represents as well. You know, everything, honestly, is mainly owned and operated by secret societies all over the world. Even the circus. I did some research, guys, and I found out that the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus was not only the world's most popular circus from the 1870s until 2017, but all the Ringling Brothers were Scottish Rite Freemasons. And there has been some major traumatic circus accidents that has occurred on behalf of the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, which, guys, I will be doing a separate video. I was going to include it in this video, but I feel that due to all the information that I want to discuss, it needs to have a video of its own. So, be expecting that video very soon, guys. Guys, I also noticed that there's a door inside of the circus and it has C and A on it. Now, as you know, Cain, as in Cain and Abel, I feel that there's a lot that has to do with that, you know, from a biblical sense. I feel that Cain represents the enemy, a demonic entity that is seeking to control the minds of God's people. Because it's very obvious, especially certain things that Cain says in the cartoon. It lets you know. So I want to let you know, guys, that although these people are dabbling into a lot of dark things, they know who the Most High is. They know that he exists. They just choose to go against him. Now, guys, after watching this show, this is my own opinion. I feel that the circus represents the world in which we call the Matrix. You know, there's a lot of illusions, there's a lot of lies, and there's a lot of manipulation going on in the world today. I feel that the performances are a facade. The performances in reference to this cartoon is the characters trying to escape this reality. I feel that in an actual circus, these performances are a facade intended to cover up dark ritual abuse that is being orchestrated by the ringmasters, who, the magicians, in actuality, who are actually, performing black magic, placing these performers up under MK Ultra mind control. And it also represents how, dark agents are seeking to control our society. The audience is the own seekers. This world is a stage, guys. It's a show. And there's a lot of people who choose to be characters. And I feel that the audience represents most people in the world who are unaware that they are a part of the Matrix. Or if they are aware, they may choose to turn a blind eye to it out of fear or denial, or even just them being comfortable with living in a false illusion. At the same time, they're not understanding that they are being attacked by dark, unseen forces. The performers in the circus represents many who are aware of their surroundings, but they are awakened, by God, and are now being attacked by Satan and his dark agents through abuse, manipulation, and mind control. A lot of the people that did participate in these circus acts, they were not happy. They were put through great measures, and it's the same thing as it's like they were being pushed to the limit to see how far that they could go, mentally and physically, even spiritually. And I feel that these characters, they were like experiments in the digital world. And I feel that the people who were controlling them, they were trying to see how far that they could push these characters mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that's why a lot of them reached a point of abstraction where they literally almost lost their minds. Now, guys, I know what I want to say. Now, Cain, in a biblical sense, it was C&A on the door, Cain and Abel. When you think about it, in the book of Genesis, Cain and Abel was the sons of Adam and Eve. Cain was the first biblical murderer, killing his brother out of jealousy. He was cursed to wander the earth. Now, the amazing digital circus could be Cain, creating this digital world in order to entrap, control, and manipulate God's people, turning them into NPCs. Now, this is my perspective on the biblical sense of this show. Now, in today's society, you have dark agents and elite members who represent people, characters like Cain. Or you could say people like Cain, as referenced to in the Bible. Carrying out, these dark agents could be carrying out Cain's evil through the spirit. The violent nature, servers of iniquity, creating a false reality in which innocent people of our society are being abused, mistreated, and involuntarily controlled by lies, deceit, secret plots, and schemes that are taking place behind the scenes. People creating false illusions and narratives at the expense of innocent people suffering. John 8:38 32 says, then you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You know, they want to keep you trapped. They want to keep you, you know, absent from what's going on around you. And I also noticed in the show that every time Promny asked how she got there and what was going on, Kane never gave her an explanation. He always acted as if he didn't hear what she was saying to him. He always ignored her. And that's how it is in the world today, guys. People want to do all of these malicious things, but they never want to take accountability or give an explanation for their actions. You know, and with that being said, guys, I would never understand the reason for this show being appropriate for children to watch. I would never understand the reason for it. I would never understand the motive, unless it was a dark motive as to why they want children to watch this. I feel that they come up with all of these secret tactics that they can push through these agendas and trends, whether it's through TV shows, whether it's through fashion, whether it's through food, no matter the case. And they feel that they have to target our youth, especially because they're the most vulnerable. They're trying to find themselves. They're more into trying new things, you know, easily to be influenced. They attack our youth. And this is one way of how they do it, through TV shows. So guys, if any of you have small children out there and you've actually seen your children, you know, watching or even mentioning the amazing digital circus, please block them from watching the show. It is very detrimental for the mental, physical, and spiritual well-being of children, teens, and adults, to be honest, because I couldn't watch it for a long time. It's very mentally disturbing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a lot of more content coming your way. Continue to take care of yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. I love you guys so much. And until the next video, peace and blessings. Mwah.